What's up, everybody? It's Amon-Rellik, the God Slayer. Amon-Rellik Gaming. You're watching a Conan Exiles video. Today, I'm going to go into a couple of topics. Well, one main topic, but it's going to be broken into pieces. Uh, One of the first things I'm going to say here and now is that if you, in any way, shape, or form, should I say, don't like the criticism of Funcom or the criticism levied towards them, you might not like this video. But I've never been one to bite my tongue with the way companies and corporations treat consumers. As being a consumer myself, um, I've never been one to butter my bread. I like my bread nice and plain, straightforward. Uh, so we're gonna start with this. I'm gonna preface this whole video with this. This game was never free. As far as I remember, this game was purchased. It was a purchasable game. It wasn't something that you just got for free. It was never free to play. You paid a specific price in order to have access to the game. Of course, Funcom went down the road of it took Conan Exiles down the road of the what's it called, the live service model. I knew when they did that this game was going to begin to die. I knew that the moment live service is where games go to die. Like, it's not a sustainable system. It's not a sustainable system. Even some of the live service games that quote unquote make it, like Destiny, they make it by the skin of their teeth. People don't play Destiny because the live service model is awesome. They play Destiny because they've been fucking invested into that game financially for almost 10 years. At this point, they say it's the age old motto that your daddy tells you about your mom. It was cheaper to keep her. You know what I mean? It's that it's cheaper to keep her attitude, which I never liked either. Because if you don't want to be with somebody, then don't be with them. Like, always remember that nothing is worth your integrity and your sanity. Nothing's worth that. There's no cost on that. There's no price tag that should be attached to those two things. So it's like the same thing should exist in gaming. When you see that what you're being asked to invest isn't being invested in you, the consumer, that should be your point to jump off. I've got about a little over 2K hours in this game. To some people, that's not a lot, because you got certain people who play out the role play lifestyle of Conan. Most of my 2K hours have been spent in PvP servers, engaging with raids, clan versus clan type stuff. Most of my hours have been engaged in that part of the community. So even though my hours have not been extensive in comparison to others who might spend 10, 15, 20, in the 2K hours, in the 2K-ish range, I think it's like a little bit more than 2K hours that I've been in this game, I've learned a lot. One thing that I have learned about this game is there is an extreme level of incompetence in the way this game is managed, the way this game is updated, the way this game is just all around supported in general. There is an extreme amount of incompetence. We're going to first start with what just happened recently. I just started on this server about about 4 or 5 days ago. And of course, the chat started lining up with people saying, "Where are my thralls? My thralls are gone." You got people who are losing 15, 20 thralls, right? They're losing all of their thralls. So Funcom had to roll back the servers. I knew a rollback was coming because there was no way that they could just say, "We're sorry" about that many thralls and all of the armor and weapons and all the time it would take to get all that. There's no way they could just say, "We're sorry about that." They would have to fix that. And the only way you could viably fix that, especially when it was like across multiple official servers, they had to do a rollback. Now, what this did was this erased most of my progress. While, mind you, I didn't progress far. I think I'm like level 25, 26 right now on this particular character. I didn't progress far, but what I did get, I lost over like the 3 days of progression. And my clanmate, my homeboy, Amon-Rellik, he lost his complete character because he had made his character within those 3 days. So he got his whole character wiped from the game. He had to start a whole new character, get back up here to the house, and I had to get him back into the game. So I understood that, and I took that as the lesser of two evils. You know, it was a fair trade in the end. It was a fair trade. I lost my stuff. I lost my little bit of progression so that everybody else could, you know, who had been here for months and years or whatever, could keep theirs. I get it. Cool. But that shows the incompetency of... And the reason why I call it incompetency is because of how long this game has been around. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have they lengthened the servers during the winter, during the summer, shortened them, off season. On season for the summer, they lengthened them. They've done that multiple times. Why is it that all of a sudden we're getting literally game-breaking shit, like everybody's thralls being deleted from the game and shit like that? Like, and then of course the Nemedian debacle, where the Nemedian pieces, people were losing entire bases due to that. Like, we still have honeycombing in the game, which again totally destroys any hope of actual meaningful rated. There's a reason why me and Snake really don't go into pure PvP servers anymore. Because what's the point? What's the point when exploits never get fixed? We've been dealing with the whole honeycombing issue for years, you know. And then it's just, on top of that, the building aspect alone, the way you're capable of building in this game, it's very possible to break the building mechanics in this game. Because of the way the building mechanics is. I don't know, maybe it's something with the code, things of that nature, but there's ways that you can manipulate the building mechanics in this game that can make raiding certain types of bases not impossible. You know, like it's, and again, you might say, well, PvP is more than raiding. Yeah, it could be more than raiding, but it never will be. And I'm about to get into why that will never be the thing. All right. First and foremost, one of the things that me and Snake saw immediately as we began to actually venture out in this particular playthrough was that the enemies, especially the human enemies, the human NPCs, their damage has been like tripled. In some cases, I'm thinking like maybe even quadrupled. Conan usually follows a certain script. This script is it's very it's very important for a reason. All right, it's very important for a reason. All right, now follow me here. Follow me here, guys. You start level 1 down here at the bottom. Broken highway. You'll usually start here, here, or here. Right? 3 spawn zones. So many 3 spawn points. Either an F, G, or H. I don't think. I mean, I think you might start an I. There might be a point in time where you might start an I. I've only ever seen people spawn here, here, and here. All right, so you spawn here, here, or here. The way it's supposed to go is as you level, you travel upwards north in the map. So by the time you hit about, because you're going to be getting levels back to back to back down here. You know, you'll hit Noob River. And once you're on Noob River, you'll kind of like hang out here for a second. Kill some, you'll kill some, you'll kill some alligators. Get some skins. Things of that nature. Probably come across your first exile, your first human NPCs to fight out here. And again, they should be fodder. But we're gonna get to that in a little bit. But you'll slide your way up these ways, up through here, and by the time you get to about mid-desert, you should be in the 15 range. 15 to 20 range around here. Right? As you get closer to, because your goal is to either decide, you're gonna have 2 choices, should I say, once you get to about here. You can break off and go all the way to the right and start heading into the jungle, which will boost you up. Like by the time you get over here, you should be teetering into the 30s and 40s here. And as you get to the point to where you're gonna fight the boss over here, you might want to be like your 45-ish areas, or 40, 45-ish. And then there's a dungeon over here too that you can do. Pretty cool dungeon as well. But as you work your way this way, you'll be given 2 choices: to go north into the Nordheimer area here in the Highlands, or to venture into the Nameless City. Nameless City, you're talking about 50 plus. You know what I'm saying? You want to be like 50 plus rolling in here. 45, maybe 40, like the high 45s, 45-ish, low 50s if you feel like you got what it takes. Highlands, same thing, 45, 50, 55-ish if you're thinking about going over here toward the mounds area. And then as you get up into the snow, now we're talking 60 range. All right, we're talking 60 range up here. You might want to be 55, close to 60, things of that nature. And you definitely want to be that here, dealing with Skelos, dealing with the Skelos people. But like, this mid area here in the desert should be about a 25-ish range. Now, here's where the first problem comes into play. They decided they wanted to change and make the NPCs hit 2 or 3 times harder than they normally would. Now, they dropped the health of these NPCs, but they wanted to make the damage higher. I guess they want the combat to be more, quote-unquote, visceral, more deadlier, right? But the problem with that is this. You're trying to make people engage with a combat system that is dull at best and broken at worst. The combat system in this game is dull at best and broken at its worst. And it has never been a combat system worth caring about. In the sense that that's the reason why we have the thralls do everything for us. Because the combat system in this game is not worth engaging in. It's not. Nothing about the combat shows in any form of fashion skill expression. There is no skill expression in combat. There's no such thing as you becoming a master at Conan's combat systems. What you do is you learn what's janky, what's not, what jank can get you killed, what ways to circumvent jank. That's the most mastery you're gonna get out of Conan's fighting system. That's about it. You don't get anything else out of it. So now what's happening is this. Now, at level 20, let me see. At level 25, in full medium armor, shield and axe, I'm being two-shot by Kushite Fighter 2s. I'm being two-shot by these guys. Right? These guys usually take about 4 shots. But I'm getting like, 2 shot by these guys. I got 2 shot the other day by a two-handed level 1 fighter. A two-handed level 1 fighter. 2 shot me. Or 1 shot me. I'm in medium armor level 25. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show 2 things. One, I'm going to show just how I'm going to show you just how ridiculous the damage is at such a point in this game. Like, thralls in this game are the bread and butter for clearing areas. Like the den, for instance. The den used to be a great place that you could go in and you could farm in a circle, because there's multiple chests and things of that nature around here. You could farm this place into a circle, and maybe leave with a good thrall that you were able to knock out, things of that nature, and go home with a bag full of treasures and a thrall. You used to could also come in here and farm the Doom Hammer. Now, just getting inside of this place, if you're trying to do so through killing, just getting inside this place will be especially solo, will be a feat, no doubt. One of the things I noticed is that the aggro range of enemies has been shortened, so there is a less chance of you getting, spammed by like 50 enemies. But then again, it doesn't matter when 1 or 2 running upon you is enough to overwhelm you. And again, we're talking, level 25, medium armor. And I'm going to run 2 tests. We're going to run the initial test with the build that I am on now. And my build here is 5 in vitality, 10 in authority, 5 in grit, 5 in expertise. At 25, we're going to run this. And I'm going to show you the damage I take. Full medium. And we'll look at our stats here. My total damage, where is it at? Where is my defense? My total damage reduction is 33% damage reduction. I know in this game, the highest you can get to is 80, I believe, or 82, something like that, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to run out here, and this is going to be the first test. We're going to run out here and go to this area, and we're going to try to fight some of these guys at the den. Again, the natural instinct of the player, especially one who's been playing this game for a long time, is once they reach the point to where they're near the den, Their goal is going to be, all right, time to set up shop somewhere around the den so that I can farm up, get me a fighter thrall. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get me a fighter thrall so that me and my fighter can come out and go out here and my fighter can help me level and I can, you know, get through places to gather and things of that nature. All right. Look at that. Oh yeah, and then the stamina problem. You see that? One combo took all of my stamina meter. One single combo. This is where, like, when you see things in a vacuum, it doesn't seem like it's a big deal. So you'll say, you know, what's wrong with the stamina being that way? In a vacuum, just swinging at the air, nothing. There's nothing wrong with it. But when you're in the midst of combat with an NPC, which can be janky, and again, remember what I said before about the combat being jank at worst? You know what I'm saying? Boring at best. This is the reason why thralls are important. I'm gonna show you. He's not even looking at me half the time. All right. I have to be careful because I'll fuck around and I'll get stuck inside of him. Because I'll mess around and I'll get stuck inside of him. When I'm stuck inside of him, I can't dodge or roll. But whenever he swings, whenever this rhino swings, he can still hit me even though I'm stuck inside of his character model. So then I have to jump to get out of his character model. This is the stuff that I'm talking about. Like, this is the reason why you depend on thralls in this game. Because again, this game is janky as all fuck. And it's like, who wants to die to dumb shit like that? Alright. 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 Let me see if I can find somebody to get rid of this. Maybe this guy's got a... Does he have a... Yep. Alright, he's got one. Alright, good. Alright. Just need to make sure I was entertained so I could have full health. Alright. With my build, I have 300 health. Ow. Yeah. With my build, I have 300 health. This is a Stygian Fighter 1 with a pike. Come at me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. So it took him 5 hits to kill me. So, if you want to look at it that way, what he did, that's a level 1. Took 5 hits to kill me. Mind you, Mind you, my attack phase, one combo from me is going to drain all of my stamina. So at very most, I'll probably have a chance to roll one time within all of that. Alright? So we're talking, I'll give him this much. He may have to swing that thing 6 times in order to hit me. Alright? He may have to hit me 6 times. You know. Because I just stood there for those 5. Now, again, in a vacuum, that might not seem like much. You know, it take about 5 hits, okay? Yeah, in a vacuum, that don't seem like a lot. But what is it effectively done? Is it's effectively, one, made it to where in order for me to get decent thralls that I can actually take, because again, the thralls themselves are taking way too much damage as well as a result of it. So now thralls are dying faster. Now they say, well, that's because now you're supposed to be getting in there and helping your thrall. Yeah, the only problem with that is I take too much damn damage. So it's like, who am I going to risk? Myself or my thrall? You know, the smart move, let the thrall die. Let the thrall die. Let the enemy reset. Get your shit off the thrall. So at least you keep your armor and weapons that you put on your thrall. You know, that's about as good as it's going to get. You know, because at this point I'm being forced to decide between the two. All right, I'm going to do this quickly. There you go. All right. Now, because I'm using a shield, look at that. I can't even react fast enough. All right. Try this again. All right. I gotta back off. Alright, he's dead.
Yebalsog will guide me to the dark land.
Alright. So one dude gave me problems. And the idea is I want to get in here and start farming. Good luck with that. Mind you, great sword wielder. One of these motherfuckers is the great sword wielder, I believe. Nope. One's a piker, and then one's a yup. Oh. Look how fast that is. You see how fast death is? Now mind you, I wasn't aiming to fight them. But you see how fast death comes when it's 2-on-1? Now mind you, I'm using this calculation to kill by bleeding. I hear you. Leave me alone. I'm using this calculation to surmise how this, to show you how this works when I'm using a build I want to build. Alright? When I'm using a build that I want, this is how it's feeling when I'm getting hit by thralls that, honestly speaking, should be around the levels of 25 to 30-ish. Like, I shouldn't be having to reassess going to the Dread and going to... Why is there a fucking... What is that? Why is there a dragon down here? How did you end up even down? Why why are you floating? That's what I'm saying. It's like the jank in this game is impeccable. Look at that. Look at that. You know, it's like, again, it's one of the things where when you when we rated, you always had those douchebag people that would, you know, would try to coax you into 1v1 fights or whatever like that. And you could never do that with me and Snake. You could never coax us into trying to take group fights and shit like that, because we understand how janky and uneven and just downright broken the combat system is in this game. Like, the combat system in this game doesn't even respond half the time. Like, when I was fighting the guy with the pipe, the moment he piped me and I blocked with the shield, my input was to do the right mouse button, but my character did nothing but stand there. It's like there's way too much, you know, jiggly jank for us to care about who's better at PvP. That's why we don't even consider that part of it to be PvP. The only part we consider PvP, and I'm gonna try this again. This time I'm gonna actually try and kill them. Is going to be and again, I don't want to run in there, of course. I want to try and wait until, yeah. Alright. Alright, I have to back off. Because again, they and then they both run back. So I can't separate them, because they'll both run back. And again, with the way the combat is so jank, look at that. I couldn't even get my shield back up. And somehow they were able to stagger me out of my combo. I was in the middle of a combo and I got staggered out of it. Alright. So I'm gonna go get my stuff back. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna respec. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna respec. And we're gonna try to respec, aiming for vitality and grit. We keep the same armor and stuff on, but we're gonna respec all these points. We're gonna try to get 10. We'll get 10 in grit, 10 in vitality. Actuality, we'll put, let me see, defensive posture, incoming damage reduced by. We'll put 3. We'll put 15 in grit. Get as high as we can on the defense pool of grit. Wait a second. Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go full grit. I'm going to go full grit because of this one right here. Where's it at? Steel Dude. You cannot take more than 25% of your maximum health and damage per hit. Yeah, we're going to go full grit, and then we're going to put the rest in vitality. And we're going to stay the same level, and we're going to see the difference in how that feels. Be back in a second. Alright, we're back. We are back, and I have gotten someone to assist me in getting some blood so that I can do this experiment faster. Thank you to Gul'dan here in the server. Just to show you guys here at the bottom here, I am in the official server, 1942 PvE conflict. So it's not, this isn't like like some side server or whatever. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go grit. Grit, of course, determines the size of my stamina pool, and it has a direct effect on armor. I'm using the medium armor as the test for this because at 25, you're more than likely not gonna be able to, you know, have yourself a full set of heavy armor. So we're gonna go with medium armor as the baseline here. And because of course it's medium, it's in between, it's not, you know, it's not too light, so I'm not getting, you know, I'm not getting absolutely no damage mitigation. But then it's not heavy armor, which you probably won't get into till you're about like 30-ish, and you'll start having it. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's try. Let's see what we can do here. We're gonna go grit it up. We're gonna grit it up. We don't need this because stamina regenerates fast enough as it is. We're gonna go increases our armor based on our current stamina. We're gonna keep going up. We're gonna get defensive posture. All right, cool. All right. And I think we'll do 10 and vitality. That seems to be because we can then use 50% increased healing from healing effect. Alright. That's reasonable. That puts my health at 400. Alright. So then we can didn't really. Alright. Yeah. Wanna get ourselves together? Too damn heavy, but that's fine. Because we're not trying to. We're not trying to. There we go. We're not trying to do anything special here. Mainly, I just want to see if the difference in grit will make any noticeable difference in my ability to fight over there. Alright? First and foremost, let's take a look at our combos again. Alright, we're still down to that one. So what? Yep, we're still down to one dodge per combo. Alright, so we can only dodge one particular time in a combo. Alright. So that change didn't, again, even though it says I have more stamina, I technically that I don't have more stamina. You see what I mean? Like it says I do, but technically I don't. Because the stamina drain is still the same regardless. And that's where it's like, okay, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? But again, we're heading out here to do the damage test. I'm not gonna do the whole Fire Spark 81 thing. People might not like that I won't, but I'm not gonna do the whole Fire Spark 81 thing where I go through mathematical numbers. We're just gonna take a look at just how much health I lose per hit and how many hits it takes to kill me. Because again, I'm not looking at it in terms of, oh man, 5 hits and you die simply because 5 hits. I'm looking at it in the sense of, in a combat phase, in a game like this where jank is like just everywhere, the the likelihood you're gonna get hit is high, very very high, especially when you're talking about facing more than one opponent. So I'm not looking at just the fact that, oh, if you just stand still and get hit 5 times, of course you're gonna die. No, I'm looking at I can only get hit 5 times in a fight, but I could end up fighting more than one mob. Here you go, more than one mob at a time. All right, we're gonna get close. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So it's gonna take 8. All right. All right. So that took 8. It's gonna take 8 from him. But he was an archer. Let's see what we can do versus the 2. All right, we're gonna choose you first. All right. Oh! Alright, so even with both grits, even with grit up like that, I could have survived that. I could have survived that with a little bit more attention paid. I could have survived that blow from him. But as you can tell, mixing in the stamina cost on top of the amount of damage you take, because yeah, it does mitigate that damage. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna actually look at how much damage is mitigated completely. We're gonna look at that stat once I have my armor back on. Mind you, I tanked a lot more damage there than I was capable of earlier. And I guess you could say this video can stand as 2 things. One, it can stand as a dissection of the incompetency behind the design, the updates, just the general balance of this game. And it can also serve as a warning. If you want to thrall hunt, you're gonna have to change your build twice. You're gonna have to change your build in order to get the thralls. You're gonna have to make a build. You're gonna have to make a build to get them. Then you're gonna have to make a build based around them. Because again, authority is what makes thralls strong in this game in terms of like your actual followers. So you're gonna have to make a build tanky enough for you to be able to knock a thrall out, effectively. Then you're gonna have to turn around and make your build strong enough. Make your build under the authority enough so that you can, of course, have a thrall worth having. Because if you're not going to go authority, then there's no use for you to have thralls in this game. Like, I know that might sound a little controversial, but it's basically the truth. If you're... Alright. Alright, let's take a look. Total damage reduction went up, what, 10? Almost about 7%. My total damage reduction went up about 7%. And while I was able to nearly kill one, death was almost assured to me on the other one. And again, this is because none of this combat is intuitive. None of this combat is truly fluid and intuitive and responsive. This combat it's always been garbage. The combat in Conan Exiles has never been good. It's never been good. And so to make the enemies twice or three times in some cases as strong as they already were, because the thralls were already hitting harder than us anyway. They sure as hell hit harder than us now. And even with the nerf to their health, they still possess more health than we do. It's like they want to try to bring the survival into their survival game, but all they did was just pump the difficulty arbitrarily. Like, I know what Conan would like to be. Conan would like to be scum. That's what it would like to be. It would like to have the complexity of scum, where survival is a combination of food, health, a combination of looking out for your food and drink, your heat, things like that. Like like I understand what it wants to be, but I don't know whether the devs are just incapable or if they just lack the technology. But Conan has never been a sophisticated survival game. It's never been a sophisticated survival. It's just been the most accessible survival game of them all, of all the ones that are out. Probably been the most accessible, and it's unique because of the Conan backdrop. You know what I'm saying? The Conan backdrop is it. But if we want to take a look at, if any other game, let's say any other developer decided that they were going to make a mid fantasy, because that's what I would consider Conan mid fantasy. If they were going to make a mid fantasy survival game, you know what I'm saying, set in a in a world where sword and shield was the law, Conan Exiles would probably lose all of its player base if anybody was to come out and be actual competition, not only in the genre but for the aesthetic as well. Because what we're looking at here, people, is we're looking at you have broken one of the cardinal rules of games, no matter what genre, and that is a steady flow of progression. Every game should have a steady flow of progression. That's what all of these section parts of the map are supposed to fucking represent. Progression. This is progression. You start down here in the desert. The desert area is supposed to be your progression. And I got somebody calling me up. Hold on 1 second, people. It's supposed to be progression, right? That's what all that's supposed to stand for, is goddamn progression. All of this, like, that's why there's section off pieces of the map. You know not to cross this. I know not to cross this boundary and go into here until I'm in my 40s and 50s. I know this. You know what I mean? Like, again, 2,000 hours, begin to realize where you can and can't go. All right? I know this. I know that right here in these lakes is where all the brimstone is. It's like, it's probably one of the highest concentrations of brimstone in this map. Right? I understand this. But what they decided, I guess, is they wanted to turn every area that's like got a bunch of thralls in it into like level 40 and 50 areas. So like Sepimoru, when you would be able to go to Sepimoru and drag you out a tier 2 or tier 3 thrall, right? Especially tier 3 worker thralls, like bench thralls, you would go to places like Seven Maru or Asgard, you know, things like that, you know, maybe even the mounds. Oh God, I can only imagine, you know, the horridness of trying to grab a Berserker from up here. Like, they've broken progression. They've broken it. So now people are hitting 25 and they're going to smack into the wall that is the den, right? They're going to smack into the wall that is the den, and they're going to be like, wait a second, why are the human enemies hitting so hard? Like, I'm wearing armor now. I've got iron weapons and shields. Why are these enemies hitting me so hard? I'm not even up in the quote unquote mid level. Like, again, this is the mid and high level up here, you know, and of course they put the high level here, but you know, it's clear that you're not supposed to walk in here. There's a big ass damn wall that's over 90% of this place. You know what I mean? Like, there's a big ass fucking wall that's it's all across this place. You know, it's clear that you're not supposed to just venture in here for no reason. You know, but progression has been thrown out the window, and so now, in order for me to even safely go over there and drag a thrall back, I need to go into a complete defensive build in order to do it. The only problem with that is now my trudge is going to hit like ass, because in order for my trudging to hit hard, it's no longer in the strength stat that it does that. It is in the authority stat that it does that. So, what? I'm about to go grit and authority? That's basically what you're telling me. You know, I'm about to go grit and authority. Hell, putting 10 points in my vitality only gave me an extra 100. Only gave me an extra 100, extra, yeah, I think it was like an extra 100 health. Like, if we look at our HP, bonus from vitality, 200, but I had 300 from before, but a total is 200 from all 10 of those points. So for every 5 points, I got 100 health. What is it? So what? For 4, 5, 600 max. I have 600 health max. They do about 4 to 5. They do about like 3 or 4. I'll give about 3 to about close to 4. It looks like. I said about 3 to 4, 350 worth of health damage every time they hit me. And we're not even talking about getting one shot by the downward swipes from two-handers. I think those actually do more than 600 damage. You know, so it's like, you know, and from what I can tell, I think Zerkers do 500 plus per hit. So now what you're telling me is, in order to break a Zerker, I can't afford to get hit more than twice, or more than once, because if I get hit the second time, I'm dead. You know, and mind you, while the damage mitigation did help a little bit, the results are nearly the same. You know, the results are nearly the same. And it all boils down to, you want to make people engage with your combat system when your combat system is not worth engaging in. Your combat system is broken at its worst, and it is dull and uninspired at its best. Nobody cares about engaging with the combat in this game. You got people who say, well, the thralls just make the game easy. Yeah, because who wants to engage with the yawn that is Conan's combat system? There's no prairies. There's no, just dodge mechanics. There's no, just guard mechanics, or, so there's none of these, intricate mechanics that would make your expression, or should I say, that would make your skill at the combat system mean anything. None of it. Again, they nerfed your combat stamina, just to give you basically unlimited stamina when it comes to running and rolling. So in PvP, you can literally just roll your way to victory as if you're playing a goddamn Souls-like game. You know what I'm saying? Or, alright, or you're gonna just get yourself jacked to pieces because you're getting hit by thralls that can just hit you, that can squish you into pieces with 2-3 hits. So it's like they don't know how to properly balance. It's like if the community says game's too easy, then they just start upping the difficulty of things all willy-nilly, and they don't take into account what doing that does. It actively destroys certain systems that truly hold up the progression of this game. Because again, the idea is to come in here and clear out, get EXP. Because who wants to go and fight in the spider den? Who wants to go to the spider den and just keep running in and out of there, resetting the spider den, just because they can't afford to go and kill the den thralls, which drop better loot, for fuck's sakes. And then, of course, the place itself has got loot boxes everywhere. Who wants to go and fight the spider den because they can't afford to go in there and solo the den? Because all of a sudden now, all of these thralls are like at the levels of freaking like tier 4s. They hit at the level of tier 4s. And it's like, you know, but maybe it'll soften up once you get to 60 and you got on, you know, and you got on your and you got what's it called, the exceptional gear. But the problem is this: it is now going to take you twice, if not 3 times as long to get there. And that's one of my other biggest pet peeves about this whole system, is you're trying to extend the life of your game by making the game harder to get through. And that is a telltale sign that you've lost any sort of actual originality when it comes to what you want to do with this game. You've lost it. Because now you're just trying to pad out numbers. You're just trying to pad out numbers. Again, your game was not free. The game is not free. They shoved battle passes down our throats. They shoved a battle pass and a cash out down our throats. At this point now, you can't even get anything new in this game unless you pay for it. And even then, when you pay for it, it's not like the shit that be on the battle pass is really all that. It really ain't all that. You know. Especially if you're used to playing in PvP, where none of that shit is worth anything anyway, because you'll lose it. You'll lose it getting offline rated more than likely. You know, so like, and then if you actually look at the battle pass itself, if you choose to play free, you might as well not even concern yourself with the pass in any way, because out of like 60 tiers, you might only get 10 things for free out of the battle pass. So it's like the battle pass don't exist for you if you don't pay every month. You know. And again, Conan doesn't have what it takes to keep people, or should I say anybody with any gamer with self-respect for their own time wouldn't play Conan enough to complete the battle pass every fucking season. Anybody who does that doesn't have a lot of respect for their own time. You know. And so the whole idea of, well, you just gotta pay for it once, and if you complete the battle pass over and over again, you know, you'll never have to worry about paying for it again. Yeah, but you'll have to throw hours and hours of your time away for a system that never improves. Conan has never improved. Oh yeah, they threw the Isle of Sipta on you. That was the most they've ever given us in terms of content, was a single new map. And that has been the only new map since this game released. That has been the only new map since the game released. We've gotten no new maps outside of that one. None. Sorcery? Joke. Sorcery's a joke. I understand they wanted to keep it within the lore of Conan, but sorcery is not truly combat viable unless you go all the way. And then if you go all the way into sorcery, that's when it can become combat viable. But if you're trying to use sorcery as, like you have to truly dedicate your combat to, and that's where authority really comes into play, because under the weight of corruption, you can afford to take hits. Now imagine if half of my health bar. Imagine if half. Let me show you. Oh, fuck that battle pass. Get that shit off my screen. Imagine if half that red health bar you see at the top. Imagine if half of it was gone. It was all grayed out. Hell, imagine if both the health and my stamina bar was just grayed out. Half of it, all gone. Imagine if that was, because that's what happens when you go all the way into full sorcery. From what I can tell, they made the timers for breaking thralls seem a little faster. I'm not sure if they are faster. They feel like they might be a little bit faster. And if they are faster, it's about fucking time, because it should never take fucking more than like maybe 10, I would say more than, at the most it should take like 8 hours to break thralls. Like, it should not take 24 hours and 12 hours to break thralls, man. Like, it ain't that serious. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that serious. Especially for thralls that could fuck around and be deleted from the game by the devs on accident or however they do that shit. Like, there's too much damn jank in this game for you to actually be able to take. There used to be a serious PvP scene in this game. I remember back when there used to be some serious. There used to be PvP YouTubers of this game, like big PvP YouTubers back in the day. There used to be some. Wasn't a lot of them, but there was some. Can't find them now. Everybody's gone. PvP is a dead shell of itself. I've jumped into many of the PvP servers that I got other characters on. Quiet. Ghost towns. Maybe 1 or 2 people are on. Ask them, hey man, how's the server been? Nobody's around. Nobody's in them. And it's like, what, you thought the human NPCs being able to kill us in a single combo was going to excite me about the combat? No, it just makes your already lame combat frustrating to do now. That's frustrating to do. When I could have just got a thrall and have him do the frustrating part for me. Because I don't care to fight in this game, because the game's fighting mechanics suck. They're frustrating. They're stupid. I don't want to do them. That's why thralls have always been the meta. Get you some thralls to do that shit for you. It's already bad enough that we're supposed to be the ones dominating, but we can have 40 thralls sitting in the house. None of them do jack shit but stand there, but we're the ones that gotta go out and bang on rocks. Oh, so instead of having the thralls go out and gather, which you should have done, you instead made a whole new system for us to grind, golems, just to extend us being in the game longer. When you could have gave thralls that ability, you could have literally put 3 different thralls in the game. You could have put 3 different human thralls. A gatherer thrall, you could have made I won't even say 3. I won't even say 3. You could have put 2 new thralls in the game. A gatherer thrall and a house thrall. And literally the gatherer thrall, you could go into its inventory, set what you wanted it to collect, and it would do what the golems do now. Collect that material that's close to your base of that type. And then you could have a house thrall and actually give us what you fucking promised years ago for thralls that actually have a patrol route around your house to actually turn on and off the lamps and lanterns and things of that nature in your house. You promised us that shit a long time ago. Still ain't got it. Thralls are still dumb as fuck. But now they hit like trucks. You know, not even trucks. They hit like fucking semis or 747s. You know what I'm saying? Falling out of the sky. Like, you know, while we are still wet noodles. Unless we throw all of our points into a certain specific, highly specific form of build. You know, and maybe then we can survive a single combo from a level 2 fighter. The fuck is that? Like, again, the monetization of this game has already made the developers scummy to me. The monetization of this game has already done that. The lack of true care in this game has already done that. The fact that this game has been in early access for years at one point. Oh, it's not now, I don't think. But it was in early access for years. Nah. You know, nah. This whole Age of War ain't jack shit in it. And then they telling you, hey, don't worry, 3 months, we're going to get, you know, there is a mechanic in the game now that doesn't even have any effect until, like a month or two from now? The little treasures for you to be able to basically self-spawn purges. It's like, it makes me wonder sometimes. It makes me wonder, like, are these motherfuckers even? It's almost as if they're not even the ones who made the game originally. You know, like, it makes you wonder, were they the ones who originally created this game? Because the kind of updating they do to this game, the kind of patches and balances they put into this game, like now. Oh, so we're going to make legendaries more unique, but then we're going to strip your ability to repair them. So now you basically turn the legendaries into trash. They're trash. Who cares? Who gives a fuck about a legendary now? Because once it's used up and it's broken, I got to go back out there and regrind something. I already have to go out and grind for materials just to build shit and whatnot. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to keep re-hunting legendary weapons. I'm just going to put them on a thrall and let them use them. You know. And that's even if I care to go out and get them. It's like, it boggles me. It boggles me. Not only how they, Funcom themselves, can be so absent-minded, for the lack of a ruder word, can be so absent-minded in their design. And it also boggles me how consumers of a certain type can just play oblivious to that. I have been neck deep in Armored Core 6, and man, it is a breath of fresh air to play a full feature complete game worth every bit of its salt. It's a breath of fresh air to be. You can always depend on FromSoft for that, but it doesn't make any sense when the targeted demographic for a game like this are people who like to have long, 6-7 hour sessions, of gameplay. It doesn't make any sense that you would take the gameplay and make it such a frustrating thing to engage with. It's already bad enough that the game can be utterly dull. It can be utterly dull 75% of the time. Because it's not like they add new shit. They don't add new areas. Once you've explored the exiled lands, that's it. You now know the exiled lands. Once you've explored Sipta, that's it. You now know Sipta. There's no expansion to the maps. There's no new maps to discover anything new. They just keep slapping shit in the cash shop and giving you new goddamn battle passes and saying, hey, got new content. No, you're just trying to sell me new products within a product. What you trying to do? A product I already bought. And that's what's happening nowadays. We're literally buying the rights to buy more. That's what we're doing. When you pay for a game and then they have microtransactions within the game, you're literally just buying the right to buy more. That's all you're doing. And that shit will never fly with me. I don't care how much people tell me, well, just, that's just the way it is. That'll never fly with me. I'll never think it is right. It will always be wrong to me. It will always be a nasty and wrong and ugly consumer practice. Especially in a game as unfinished as Conan Exiles is. As jank, exploit-ridden, cheater, rampant. Like, this game has got so many fundamental problems. Not just problems with the monetization and balance, but the fundamental meat and bones of this game is fucked. Again, we're just, people are just nostalgic about playing, Conan Survival. It's just the aesthetic that keep people here. It's the aesthetic that keep people here. Like, the survival part of Conan is not hard. You just made the progression in Conan difficult. You haven't made survival any more difficult than it always has been. You got food? Cool. You got water? Cool. You got a campfire? You got a campfire in your inventory? Cool. Grab you, grab you an axe, grab you a pickaxe, axe, and maybe a sickle, and you're set. You can literally walk around and survive all day. Find you a water source, hang around it. Cool. But then let's look at something like Scum. You can't just drink water from anywhere. You can drink water from anywhere in Conan. It doesn't matter where it's from or where it's at. Can't do that in Scum. You gotta drink water from specific places or different types of, like, you can't drink water in lakes because lakes don't have water that runs. It just sits. Thus, water stagnates. Stagnated water is poisonous. You gotta get it from flowing rivers, things like that. You have to actually put it in bottles and save it, things like that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. How in Conan, I can skin a monster. I can skin a hyena. But not only do I get the hide, but I get the hide and meat. So I don't even have to use the tool of the cleaver to get the meat. It's gotten to the point to where cleavers are no longer even a use in the game, honestly speaking. Hell, I could even use a goddamn hatchet that you would use for wood and just hit a dead hyena. Got meat. Put my little campfire that's in my inventory already. Put it down on the ground. I ain't got to remake one. Like in Scum, you gotta, if you move on from that campfire, you can't just pick the campfire up and put it in your inventory. You gotta break that bitch down and move on. You gotta rebuild one wherever you go. I can just put one in my inventory. You see what I mean? Like, they've already done enough to totally wipe the survival part of this game out of it. So why are you now making what's left of this game frustrating to deal with? Because there is no expression of skill in the combat in this game. So why make the combat frustrating to deal with? Because your combat ain't nothing to write home about. And it sure as hell ain't nothing that I want to engage with. Just let me get my thralls on my benches so that I can produce and build at a faster rate. So that I can build my actual nice castle and whatnot. Because it's about all you can really get out of Conan at this point. It's just building big, nice shit. Which at the end of the day ain't nothing but FPS dumps and FPS munches. Because you can't barely go anywhere without your FPS dropping to fucking 40 and 30. Because you got certain people who will build entire metropolises in certain areas. You know. Which also further makes the combat harder to deal with. Because if you're trying to fight with janky ass combat systems at like the 25 or 30 FPS, good luck. When you got enemies that do shit like teleport and bounce around or get stuck on shit, but then all of a sudden don't get stuck and turn and hit you because you're not exactly sure what the enemy's gonna do with the wacky AI it's got. Oh, but we're gonna tune up the damage on NPCs when we don't even have truly reliable combat in the game. What I mean by reliable combat, I mean combat that obeys certain rules and never deviates from those rules. There's a rule and system in place that it never deviates. But it's impossible for Conan's fighting system to have any kind of actual concrete rule set because the game itself will glitch out multiple ways to where the combat will always break those rules. Hitbox is wonky, no real iframes. But then again, there are times when you do get iframes during your roll, and then there's times that you won't get iframes during your roll. It's like, but you think the solution is to triple the damage of the enemies you fight. I'm trying not to be rude, but it's hard for me to accept that anybody with a smart, developed brain thought that these changes, these current changes that are in the game, were anything worth having. It is hard for me to believe that a developed brain looked at these changes and says, the community's gonna love this. My rant's over. I'm about to head back into some Armored Core 6 because I don't even know. I can't do this right now. I can't tolerate this game right now. Like this is ridiculous. Like this is ridiculous. Like why in the hell am I bringing home a tier 2 fighter? Why the fuck am I bringing home a tier 2 archer? I would kill you two. I would normally just kill you two. Why the hell would I bring you back home? Because again, look at you. You're only 825. Look at your stats. Like, look at your stats. You only start with 7 agility, 3 grit. Why would I bring you home? Why would I waste time leveling you? But the only reason why I have to bring you home because you're about as good as I can get without guaranteeing my own death out there. It doesn't make any damn sense. Like, around this level, I'm looking for 2 tier 3 fighters. One for me, one for Snake, so that we can take them out, level them on some small creatures, get them to about like level 8 or 9, and then we take them into the den, and we farm the den up until we get to about level 35-ish or so. Close to like level 35-ish. You know, they'll be about level 12, 13 by that time. But me and Snake will be like level 35-ish. and then we'll push further up. We'll come out into here somewhere, build us a little home out here somewhere. We'll start then collecting we'll start making runs to collecting the brimstone. You know what I'm saying? Fighting up here a little bit, you know, doing some tag team fighting up here. You know, we'll get ourselves to about 40-ish, 45-ish around up here. And we'll probably set up a main base all up in here somewhere. We're usually up in this general region up here somewhere. And then, of course, we'll take our thralls. At that point, about the thralls are like level 17-ish, level 18-ish. They're close to max. Then we'll actually come out here and we'll tag team. We'll quadruple team a Zerker, bring a Zerker back. Quadruple team another Zerker, bring it back. And then once both of those Zerkers are broken and we're out, those are going to be our main thralls. And then we'll just set the 2 tier 3 thralls out to just be defense or wherever like that. But that's usually how we do things. That's usually how we do things. And that is a nice form of progression. Nothing. 12-ish, 13-ish, 14, 15-ish. You know what I'm saying? 20-ish around here. You get up in here and get about 20, 25. Grab us some tier 3 thralls to kind of, you know, help us push up into these areas. You know, we'll start down here, but then we'll push up into these areas with those thralls. You know, get set up here, level them up, get them to about 18, 19. We go get our next level of thralls, the berserkers, get them, bring them back, break them. Now we got, you know, some of the best thralls in the game, and now we can start pushing up into the snow, and then eventually going into the skeletons, or we can push over here into the jungle, or we can start farming this area, the unnamed city, a lot more. Progression had a clear path. Now it's like I don't even know what they expect me to do outside of going out here and killing random ass animal mobs for you know, hours on end, because fighting the thralls is it's gonna be a slow. It's not that I can't do it. I can kill them. You know, I can kill them, but we're talking when I could just go into the den and clear the den out in maybe 30 minutes. You know, solo, I could go in there and clear the den out in like 30, 35 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, close to an hour. Now it's like it'll take me forever to clear the den out, simply because now solo, I am at a serious disadvantage, and I shouldn't be at that high of a disadvantage when that area used to be my level. And it doesn't make any sense. And again, they're trying, their reasoning is so dumb. It's very, very stupid. We want people to engage, you know, we want the combat to feel deadlier. The combat doesn't feel deadlier, it just feels more frustrating. You know, you want to feel deadly combat? Play Elden Ring. And fight some of the soldiers in Elden Ring. Fight some of Godrick's soldiers in Elden Ring. Because they actually have competent AI. Them motherfuckers can prairie you. They can do things like prairie you. They'll actually accurately dodge your attacks. They don't just dodge just because they can. You know, you fight one of these motherfuckers here, like the guys with the daggers. They'll dodge for no reason. They're like, I'm not even attacking you, but you dodging. You know, they're just on rails. Like nothing about them is intuitive to you. You know, and so again, it's like they sniffing their own farts and thinking they smell like roses. Like your combat system is not all that to be trying to force people to engage with it. You know, and it's like, you know what? It just lets me know the incompetency of Funcom knows no bounds. In any case, I'm going back to Armored Core 6. I'm Amon-Rellik the God Slayer, Amon-Rellik Gaming. I'm out.